Hello, crafty friends. Who else was just kind of wiggling in their chair during that intro? I always am. And it's a good thing that I start with the overhead view because you probably don't want to see too much of that. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. If you don't know it, my name is Alicia, but as always, you can call me Crafty Al. And welcome to a little Let's Get Crafty live stream. I did a couple last week and I had so much fun just coming and making random things with you. And just like last week's videos, the live audience is going to get to help me decide on some stuff today for my cards. So to chat over in the chat box to help with moderation, I do have it turned on to subscribers only. So if you do want to join us in the chat, both with voting and later with entering to win one of the cards I'm going to make today, make sure to click on that subscribe button below this video. Speaking of the chat, hello, welcome to everybody who is already over there. Make sure when you join us that you let us know where you're watching from. And if you're catching this on replay, let me know down in the comment section where you're watching from and include the hashtag replay so I know that you were here. I did have a couple comments. I did want to recognize, first of all, my best friend Danny. When she tells me where she's at, she's just down the road, and she is. So glad you're here. And let's all send out some healing vibes to Princessa Kelly. Hope you get to feeling better soon. That is no fun at all. If you're going to craft along today, just on your own projects that you might be doing, let me know over there in the chat. I think I pointed the correct way this time. I just got to remember it's the opposite of where I actually see the chat. So let me know. If you're just hanging out watching, let me know that as well. If you're at work, don't let me know because we don't want you to get in trouble. All right. So today's live stream, each month I come on here and I open up the mail that I've received in my P.O. box. Many times it's like show us your sheet load cards or maybe just because cards. But every once in a while I get a few crafty gifts. And I thought, you know what? that would make a great live stream. Why not use some of those goodies that I got in June? So let's go to overhead again. Before I show you the goodies, if you haven't seen them, I did want to show you this card that I made during yesterday's Oh So Inspired live stream. I got together with my sister and we did a little on the spot crafting, and this is the card I made, and it will be heading out to the winner soon. As for, got it. Hold up. Uh-oh, I thought I had everything ready. As for the gifts I received in last month's mail, the first one was from Carmen, which I think I see her over here in the chat right here. Choose Joy with Carmen. She's a channel member. She's a Sheetload team member. She's an Oh So Inspired team member. And she sent me one of the best paper pads I've ever seen. So she said, when I saw this new paper, I thought of you. Hope you enjoy it. Oh my goodness. You know I did. Carmen knows me so well. This is called, let me see here, Full of Life. Now, if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I think Nightbot is going to send you a link to go check this out on Carmen's site. Again, you'll have to search for Full of Life. And then down in the description box below, in the related products section, I also have a link to Carmen's site. So I know that she would love you to stop by and get one of these paper pads for yourself. So look at this, guys. They're double-sided, so like I got two of this rainbow, and on the back was the squares. I do go through it page by page on that Happy Mail video, but oh, look at all that rainbow watercolor, even some kind of here at the back look like alcohol ink. I love it. Thanks again so much, Carmen. And secondly, I got this beautiful card from Jennifer S. And when I saw the background, I'm like, oh, that looks like one of my favorite stencils from last year's Advent Calendar series. And you guys, she sent me, check this out. They're hard to see because they're clear, but they were from close to my heart. Of course, they have closed now, but it is stencils to create that background in slimline and in an A2 card front. So I just had to put these to use. And the one thing that I discovered today as I was kind of prepping is you use them like the one way, but then you rotate it 180 degrees to get another layer that you can do another color with. So I'm super excited to use those. And speaking of Crafty Advent, I did already pre-order my Tailored Expressions calendar for this coming holiday season. I plan on ordering the spell binders again. And yesterday when I was live with my sister, some crafty friends mentioned over in the chat that Pink and Main had an advent calendar available for pre-order. Guys, I'm getting one of those. So I'm going to pre-order that and share that as well this December. And I have a crafty friend who's going to share one with me as well. So this will be an extra special advent. I don't have a link yet for the Pink and Main advent calendar, but I will be sharing it later today on my community tab, and I'll be sending out an email. If you're not on my email list already, Nightbot is sharing a link to sign up for my email list. So I hope you'll do that so you'll be the first to know. But otherwise, if you subscribe, turn on the bell for all notifications, you should see my community tab posts as well. And I will be sharing that. So I'm super excited. I went back and watched last year's Pink and Main Advent Calendar series, and it kind of reminds me of Tailored Expressions. So I'm looking forward to that. Let me know if you're looking forward to the Advent series. Put Advent over in that chat box. As I'm over looking at the chat, I do want to remind you it's going across the bottom. But as I get into the live stream, it's hard for me to see every single message. I do go back later and watch it to see them. But if there is something you need specifically from me, not just a general crafty question for the audience, make sure to put question in all caps in front of your message, or you can tag me. And if you're on a laptop or a desktop and you type in @CallMeCraftyAl, it's going to pop up a box and let you click on my username. And what that does is it gives me a highlight over in the messages, and it's super easy for me to see. Now, if it is just a general question, by the way, if you're watching it on replay and you have questions, leave those in the comment section. But if you're live here with me today and it's just a general question, feel free to talk amongst yourselves. There are so many wise crafters over there in the chat. Not only are they wise, but they're also kind, and I know they will answer them. I do see that we have quite a few people who are excited for the Advent calendar. Yeah. Again, I don't know if I'm butchering your name. Shani. I'm going to go with Shani. Let me know if I'm correct over there. She has ordered the Pink and Mane and Tailored Expressions. Well, we're going to have so much fun this winter, aren't we? Love it. Let me see if I missed anything above that. So Nightbot did put in Carmen's link, so make sure to check that out if you want the paper pad I'm using today. And if I missed any messages that you need me to answer, go ahead and do that question in front of it because it scrolled up quickly, so I probably have missed some. Should we go ahead and do our first poll? Okay. I'm going to start with the stencils from Jennifer, and I will be using the A2 version, the smaller one. But I'm going to show you, hopefully, crossing my fingers, I'm going to show you how we can just stencil one and turn it into 2 cards, all right? So what I did beforehand, you already know that I love my color cubes, which is just a box of cards that look like this that give you different color combinations. I do have a link to the bundle down in the description box if you want to check them out. But I love these to get color combos from. And I thought since we need 4 different colors for that stencil set, that we would pick one of these. And guys, you're going to get to help me decide. So before I went live, I used random.org to just randomly choose 3 cards. And now you guys are going to tell me which is your favorite. Oh,
thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Carmen, for the super chat. That is so appreciated. And thanks again for the paper. My goodness, that was enough. Okay, so these are the ones that random.org chose for me. So don't vote with your words. I'm going to get it ready over here. So we're going to go A, B, C. All right. So let me get the poll ready. Pardon my hand in front of me here on the bottom or on the big screen. And I'll give you a close-up look at each of them. All right. So I'm going to do 2 minutes for you to get your answer in the poll. First off is card number 24. And oh, when I saw it in those colored pencils, you know I loved that. So I have some reds, blues, and greens. So this is A. Card number 2 has a little kind of maybe Victorian ballet scene with probably, you know, my favorite color, mold wine, red, pink, green, and blue. Or C, we have some macarons here with some mint greens, peaches, and blues. So go ahead, vote in the poll. You got to make sure that you click on your letter in the poll, and it will add it up for me and choose a winner. Yep. Sorry, I was going to get a drink in the meantime, but I about choked on it. We do go back if you were here for yesterday's live stream or you've watched the replay, which by the way, I do have that Also Inspired Live linked below. I had to go to some new sound effects because of how I have to set them up. But today we are back to the normal sound effects. So hopefully you like those. All right, we have about 44 seconds to get that vote in. I'll hold them up one more time. A, B, oh, doesn't want there, focus, B. And I know this looks almost black on the camera, but it is like a very, very dark maroon or mulled wine. Or C. I know which one I would pick, but I won't tell you until after we have a winner. Oh, here I was going. Princessa Kelly says she ordered the color cube using my link and she can't wait to get it. I can't wait for you to get it either. I absolutely love mine. I use them all the time. And thank you so much for using my links. That definitely helps me out. It kind of lets me know which products you love that I'm using, and it just keeps me creating here on YouTube. So I always appreciate it when you use my affiliate links. Okay, guys, the poll is closed. So let's see what won. All right. Oh, I don't have my drum roll anymore. That went on kind of long. Okay. With 56% of the vote, and it was my favorite too, we will be working with card number 426. So what I do now is I bring in my Tailored Expressions cardstock swatch ring. I do also have one with my Gina K Designs cardstocks, but I don't have as many as you can see. And some of these I have ran out of. So I try to match it to my TE. And, you know, they're not all going to be a perfect match. I try to get as close as possible. And, so I need 4 different colors. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stencil onto that lightest gray. Okay. So I think I'll get out. Yeah, I'm going to get out sea salt to stencil onto. Okay. And now I need 4 inks. And since there are 5 colors left, I definitely want the peach, the peachy color. I think Guava is a pretty good match. So Guava. Let's go up here, see if we can find some of these greens. They're kind of unique, kind of a minty. Ooh, I think Spearmint looks pretty good for that one. I definitely want this blue down here, so I'll try to find something that's close. Maybe. Okay, it's a little lighter, but if you look on the back of your cards, it kind of gives you different shades of each color that you can choose. So I'm going to go a little lighter. I'm going to go blue cheese, which if you were part of the Advent series, if you watched, we actually got a little mini cube of this color, which wasn't released until just recently in that Advent calendar last December. And then finally, I think, let's see if you know what, I'm going to do this largest one here, or sorry, not largest, the darkest blue, and choose blue corn. So blue cheese and blue corn. So here, oh, better zoom out a little bit so you can see more of my workspace. Not too much though. There we go. So this will be our color palette. And this does look kind of like white, but it is just a little bit of a soft gray. I'll be working on a grid paper placemat today just to catch any stray ink that I might have. But also I can then tape my cardstock to this. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and cut this to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm not sure exactly how big that stencil, what area of this piece that it stencils onto, but I know that this will at least be big enough. And I like to put a little adhesive on the back of this. Just put it right down. I'm going to put it in a corner of one of those boxes. Just in case something happens and this lifts up, I still know where it goes. And then I'm just going to pick the first one and try to kind of center it on here. It doesn't go all the way to the edges. I'm just going to try to get it centered. And I'm going to pull in some blue painter's tape. When I get a new piece, sometimes I have some sitting around, but I don't right now. But when I get a new piece, I grab a couple and I always put them on the back of my hand just to take a little of that tack off. And I'm going to tape that down. Now, later when I go to rotate this around, I want to kind of know where my starting point is for my alignment of my stencil. So again, it's hard to see because it's a clear stencil, but I'm just going to put some pencil marks just in the upper left and the bottom right, just to kind of give me an, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do this one too, just in case. That way I'll have some guides. Now, because I have to use each of these twice, and I'm going to have to clean it off before we use the new ink, I do want to go ahead and start with the lightest colors. So the lightest on each stencil will be either blue cheese or spearmint, and then I will move it to the darker ones. So for now, I'm going to put these to the side, and we're going to start with the blue cheese, you guys. I'll put my card over there so you can see which one won if you're coming in. And I'm just going to do my circular motions. I try to start out with a lighter hand at first, but you guys, it seems like usually no matter what I do, I always have a heavy hand. But just if you can kind of start out light, because you can always, add pressure and add more color, but it's kind of hard to take it away. Uh-oh, guys, it kind of messed up right there. We might have to hide that later. I'm going to right now, I lifted up the edge of the stencil with the brush. So I am going to right now, before that happens again, add some tape up there. Hopefully we can make it work without that little bit. Or maybe it will be covered up with our sentiment later. And you can see here, I accidentally got kind of dark with some of those. Or, you know what? I wonder if my brush had something different on it before, like a darker blue, and I did not clean it off. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna go in and just kind of clean this off on my towel. I do think I had a darker ink on there, you guys, because I'm wondering, why is it so much darker, than kind of what I picked? But good news is, let me cover this up while I kind of finish cleaning this. Helga has a question for me here. She says, where is my blue and white bracelet? It's over here with my watch today. I thought today I would wear some of my friendship bracelets. My daughter and I have been making those lately and enjoying them. Oh, Kristen already knows what I'm going to do right here. She says, flip that piece over. That's exactly what I'm going to do. But I want to make sure I get that dark blue out of here. There is a lot of blue coming off this brush. So that will teach me to not clean it after I use it, right, guys? While I'm doing that, Kristen said that ink name cracks her up. She wouldn't have thought to name it that way, but it works. Way to go, Taylor. So if you haven't noticed or didn't know, all of Taylor's inks are named after some kind of food. So yes, they have to kind of figure out something that will match the colors that they come out with. All right. I think I'm going to call that good. And not only am I going to flip it over because I think that's too dark, but I messed up there. You didn't. I had put that adhesive in the middle, but all I'm going to do is just roll that right off with my finger and nobody would ever know it was there. And we're going to, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to put some on this side. All right, let's try it again. And I just left it, so I left the hinge at the top, so we'll put it right back down, and it should land where those pencil marks are. And let's try this again. And guys, I'm going to try to have a really light hand, okay? A really light hand. I'm going to well, guys, I think it is just kind of darker than we think because, maybe not. I don't know. I think it still might be a little bit darker than the cardstock swatch, but I will try to, I'll try not to get it too dark. I think I already have. Oh my goodness, you guys. This card is starting out great. But we're just going to make it work, right? I should have probably taped down my grid paper placemat too. It's moving around like crazy. Yeah, I think it's darker than we think. Oh, thank you. I just looked up and Polly. Yes, I completely forgot. If you are enjoying today's live stream or the replay, if you're watching it, I always appreciate a stamp of approval. Give the video a thumbs up, share it with a crafty friend. Just helps me reach new crafty friends and lets me know you're enjoying my videos. Thank you for the reminder, Polly. I'm just going over the sections I've already done, trying to get like an even blend and even coloring. But with stenciling, I think it's okay to have some variation in the shading. Just makes it look more handmade. Oh yes, and good. Carmen points out that her inks lighten up after they dry. These do too, and they kind of even out a little bit and become less splotchy. So yeah, I'm hopefully by the time we're done, it will look like we want. And even if, like I said, even if the colors aren't exactly like the card, they usually end up going very, very well together. All right, I'm going to call that good for the blue cheese. And before I do the darker ink, even though it is a darker blue, I am going to go ahead and try to get some of the ink off here. That looks pretty good. Now, like I said before, I'm going to have to clean this stencil. And since I have to go ahead and rotate it, I will remove the stencil instead of removing the cardstock while I do that. I'm going to move this off to the side. And normally I take it upstairs to the sink, but nobody has time for that today. So I'm just going to bring in a baby wipe, put it on a piece of paper. This way I can just see if I'm getting it clean. And I'm just going to wipe it off. Which it's definitely going to need some Dawn Power Wash later. Some of the ink is coming off, but not a whole bunch, you guys. It seems like some stencils or some colors stain more than others, but if you don't have Dawn Power Wash, I highly suggest it because it will clean off a lot of this when I use it later upstairs. I'm gonna put that baby wipe in my stamp cleaner box to hopefully keep it moist so I can use that. And dry that off. And let's get it set up for our second one. Now for this, I need to rotate it 180 degrees. And I'm going to start again by lining it up with those pencil marks that I made earlier. But once I have it there, I do want to make sure that it looks okay. And I'm actually going to adjust it some, guys. Maybe when you rotate it, it doesn't go exactly like that. So I adjusted it a little bit. But that was at least a good starting point. And I'm going to replace my tape. All right. I just wanted to welcome Fraulein Erdbeerly. She became a Paper Trimmer Level channel member just last week. So thank you for coming. I'm so glad you're here. All right. Now, let's go ahead, since this already has the blue on it and it's kind of stained, let's go ahead and do the blue corn for the next layer of this one. I'm going to use that same ink brush. And if you're coming in late, this is the color combo card that the live viewers chose to use today. Now I'm just going to go over those same openings. And this I am going to want to do kind of heavy-handed, just because I want to make sure that it shows up differently than that blue corn I just used, right? Since that I thought that was a little darker. Sorry if I keep saying we and offending you. I know you're not making all of these choices. But yeah, definitely going heavy-handed here. Don't forget, if you have something you want me to see, to tag me or put question in front of your message. I can look up every once in a while to the chat while I'm doing like the stenciling and stuff to see if there's a new one for me. Oh, I forgot to. Does anybody else feel like they get a workout when you stencil? Usually it's kind of cool down here in my basement, but I feel like I'm having a workout here. Probably too, because I'm pressing so hard to make sure I get this a different shade of, or different darkness of blue. And I guess I did choose that gray for the background, so that might change the colors a little bit too. But it's pretty close to white. I see that a lot of you are loving this stencil. I know that Stampin' Up, and maybe Carmen can help us out. Stampin' Up did brought on board some of I think they were called makers before at Close to My Heart, and now they're probably called demonstrators. Stampin' Up did bring some of those people over, and they also brought on some of the Close to My Heart products. I don't know, Carmen, if you can let us know if they're reproducing any of those Close to My Heart stencils. If they're not, maybe you could put in a good word. Like, I don't know if demonstrators can make suggestions, but this is definitely a great one, and it's so sad that it's not made anymore. Oh, bye, Chris. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you'll check out the rest of the replay later. Lindsay says Tailored Expressions has a similar one. You'll have to let us know the name, because I check out their stuff pretty often and nothing's jumped out. What I like about like this one specifically and the Spellbinders, oh, sorry, that I did not mean to click on that. What I like about this one specifically and the Spellbinders one I got in the Advent is that it gives you so many different coloring options because it's layered. Like, I have seen stencils where it's like the full pattern on one stencil, but not anywhere you can do these multiple colors. So let us know the name of it. I'll have to check it out, because you know I buy a heck of a lot of TE stuff too. Melissa said demonstrators can make suggestions. She doesn't think they're including any of the stencils. I hope like they'll consider bringing this one back, because it is a great one. Carmen says she'll keep her eyes out for us. Good. Yeah, let us know if they come up with something closer. I don't know how much of the intellectual property rights they bought from Close to My Heart. So I'm just going to set that to the side for now and bring in the second stencil, which again, I'm going to kind of start where my pencil marks were. But, oh yeah, adjust as needed. And because there are some straight lines in this stencil, it is a little easier to line up, because you kind of, put those in the openings. Sorry, I got to be quiet while I do this to get it as best as I can. I think we're going to call that good. It's a craft, right? We talked last week. It doesn't have to be perfect. Marilyn M. I saw. Okay. Marilyn says, and she tagged me at the front if you see that. So her comment showed up to me with a red box behind my name, which is super helpful. She said the stencil from TE was Create in Quads Mod. It was a Stamp Joy exclusive. All right. I do actually have that one. And yeah, it is a good one. It has like 4 different layers as well. And you stencil like one almost full sheet of cardstock and get 4 card fronts. I do have that one. Helga, I think I have seen the Pink Fresh one, and I think it's kind of like what I said, where I think I would have to stencil too much of the same color. Like either it's not enough layers or it's single layer. I can't remember, but I have seen it. I do like the layout and the shapes on it, but I just wanted more like layers of it. I have seen that. Susan says the TE Triple Slim Layering Boho. Okay, I have not checked that one out. I don't make as many mini slims, so that might be why, but yes. All right, guys. All right. If I missed anything, tag me or put that question in front of it. But for now, let's go ahead, bring in the Spearmint ink. And you know what I'm going to do right now before I use this on a lighter blue later. Oh, Tina thinks TE's version is called Boho Summer. I will check that out. I'm definitely going to have to go back after the live is over and look at all your suggestions and check them out. Oh, that is a lot of blue on this thing. I think I'll set that to the side and clean that up with some water and soap. All right, now for our spearmint for our next layer. Just in case I used a dark green, I'm going to wipe this off. I know TE has like a set of pastel blender brushes. Maybe I need to get those and start using sets for like the different shades of colors. I know I'm super quiet right now, trying to concentrate on my stenciling. So talk amongst yourselves. I'll try to think if I can come up with anything to chat about. Otherwise, we'll have, you can probably, do you guys hear my bracelets clinking? I wanted to wear them because I love my friendship bracelets, but that might be annoying. Let me know if it is, and I can always take them off. I think some of the ink from that blue tape came off on my blending brush because some of that spearmint looks a little bluey. Freya or Helga says, do you use a special wipe for the brushes or is it a towel? So between crafts or between, projects, I just use this tea towel and I wipe off my brush on here. But like, I really think the blue needs a little something extra. So I'll let it soak in a little warm soapy water to get some of that ink out. And Lindsay, Hero Arts has a geometric layering stencil that is almost identical to, it was part of the My Monthly Hero kits. Oh, you know what? Somebody sent me that stencil set. I do have that. And yes, that is a very good option as well. And yes, it was part of a My Monthly Hero. Wow. Probably a few years ago. But yes, I do have that one. Thank you for the reminder. All right. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I need to clean off this stencil before I move to the guava. Let's see if my baby wipe stayed. I keep my stamp chamois in a DVD case to keep it wet. I think that works. So I put my baby wipe in there too, hoping it would stay a little moist so I don't have to use any more than needed. Lindsay said, if I have rubbing alcohol, it cleans the stencils amazingly dries fast too. I do have rubbing alcohol, but that's up in the same place that my Dawn Power and Wash is at. And I tried, So a couple weeks ago, I wanted to try something with the TE inks and spray bottles, and I mixed some with rubbing alcohol and some with water. And I didn't play for them very long down here, and the rubbing alcohol was really getting to me. So I don't know if it's just a little bit too closed up down here, but I try not to spray rubbing alcohol down here. Maybe you don't even use it in a spray bottle, but that's what I thought. But it is upstairs, so I can try that maybe if something doesn't get as clean as I want, perhaps with the power wash. Oh, Carmen has an update for us. The only Close to My Heart stencil currently available is the Floral Sprig Embossing Folder and Stencils. Thank you, Carmen. And once again, I'm going to rotate this around and get it set up here. Okay. Now, I'm going to bring back in this tea towel and wipe off that tape because I've never noticed that before, but it did seem to pull some of the ink off there when I blended with the new color. So just want to be better safe than sorry. And now let's bring in Guava. I don't know which color, like, do I use my pink brush with this? Do I use my red brush? I'm going to go with red. I do like to, once I get the ink on my brush, I do like to tap it off. I'm absent-mindedly tapping it off on the paper, but I should tap it off on the stencil because then I can pick that ink up later if I need more. So now I'm just going to go, wait, I guess I missed a couple. I'm going to get these last two little sections that I missed, and then I want to go in and add some ink. Like over here, I didn't stencil as darkly, so I want to add some more ink in those areas. Okay, guys. I think it's going to look quite different than the card we picked out, but I think we'll still have some shades. Are we ready for the reveal? If you are, type reveal over in that chat box, and I'm going to get a drink while you do that. I'm a little warm now. Kristen says, so many color combos would look fabulous. I agree. I agree. All right, looks like you're ready for the reveal, guys. All right, let's see here. Are we ready? We'll zoom in so we can get the full effect. Okay, are we ready? Remove the tape. Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, I don't have a drum roll. Darn it. Yesterday I did. Oh, that's fun, guys. I like that a lot. Super fun. So here's the card we did. I like that. Now, for now, I'm going to put this to the side and we will finish the cards later. Now what we're going to do is do a little more voting. The next product I'm going to use is the paper from Carmen. Shout out again to Carmen. Make sure to check out her Stampin' Up! Site. That one I picked out, it was hard, but I picked out two ahead of time that like pulled my attention the quickest. So we're going to vote which one you want to see me use, but I will tell you that I'm going to make one of the 5x7 sheet loads out of it. So I'm going to use a single piece of 6x6 and the layout will be from here. I am going to add another mat because I'm using a pre-bought card base, but this will be the layout that we do with it. And it's actually going to be the same pattern for all of the pattern paper pieces. So here are the two that I picked out. First of all, look at this. This kind of reminds me of like a rainbow alcohol ink piece. And then the next one, look at these rainbow stripes. Aren't those gorgeous? When you vote, we're going to be, this will be A and this will be B. So let me get that poll ready. So A, B. All right. And welcome. I see we have some new friends joining us. Welcome, welcome. You're here right in time to vote on which paper we'll use for our next card. So A or B, let me know which you prefer. I think they're both going to look gorgeous. I'm excited. All right, get those votes in. We got just a little over a minute left. A or B? And then after you get done voting, go check these out on Carmen's site. Again, it's called, what was it? Full of Life? I keep forgetting. Yeah. Full of Life 6x6 designer series paper. I have a link down in the description box, and Nightbot is also putting it over in the chat. If you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I bet Carmen would love to have you join her. I mean, you don't have to like join Stampin' Up!, but you know what I'm saying. Oh, I just spotted somebody. Speaking of sheet load members and oh so inspired members. Welcome, Yvette. So glad you're here. And I know I've missed saying hi to a lot of you, so welcome, welcome. Okay, we have 20 seconds, you guys. It looks like it's not even close. All right. Time is almost up. Let's find out. We'll close that poll. The winner this time with 84% of the vote is A. I will tell you that when I got ready today, I was just going to choose this piece and go with it. But then I knew that you guys would love to help me decide, so I brought in that second piece. So I'm glad I did. So I will now be using the single card dimensions from Sheetload, which if you have not downloaded this month's free printable, I do have links to the debut and process video down in the description box. So as long as you're a subscriber, you can download this for free. And I will, once again, I'll be using these single card dimensions here when I cut my pattern paper. But this is going to be super easy, you guys. So I want the pattern, I think, to sit like this on my card. So I'm going to rotate it. And the first thing I'm going to do is cut 2 pieces off the bottom that are 3/4 of an inch tall, just because this is easier than trying to hold on to that 3/4 inch measurement later. Okay, I'm getting a phone call. I will decline that. So here we have our 2 bottom pieces, and then this one's just a little bit bigger than 4 now, but I do want this to be the bottom. No, you know what? I'm just going to cut it 4 inches from the top. So here we go. And now I just have like this little strip left over at the bottom, and I bet I can put that on the inside of my card base or do something with it. So this was no scraps from this piece. Now, for my card bases, I know that some of you aren't into the 5x7 cards because you can only get 1 base out of a piece of cardstock. Now, with this month's Sheetload, I did try to at least have you use some more of that leftover from each sheet. But if you don't want to use a full sheet for 1 card, this is what I did. The last time I had a 5x7 sheet load, this came from Hobby Lobby, but Michael's had some too. This is a pack of 5x7 card bases with envelopes. So you could always do something like this. And you know, it's $3.99 regularly for 12, which I think, it's 24 pieces. So it's 12 cards, 12 envelopes, and you know they're going to have this 40 or 50% off eventually. So you could do this as well. I thought I would just show you today what that's like. But since I am using a white card base, I wanted my pattern paper to stand out just a little bit more from this, okay? So I got out a piece of black cardstock, and I'm going to cut a mat for the big piece and then the mats for the strips. So here I think I'll cut to 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, which my trimmer is missing. So hopefully I figured that out correctly. So here we go. Now we just have a border around that to help it stand out. And some of my team members, the Sheetload team members, they did add borders to their background cardstock this month. And then I'm going to do 2 1-inch strips. And I'm going to cut these to, I'm going to go just a little bit bigger than 6, just in case. We can always trim that off later. So now we have those mats, and then this scrap I just put back with my black cardstock for later. You could, if you wanted to, you could have gotten 2 of these from 1 piece of cardstock, and no, I think just 2 of these. Well, you could have maybe gotten some off the edge. So I like to usually make the most of my cardstock, but for today, we're just going to get it done, right? I think, oh, you know what? I need to, well, I'll cut that later. But so here we have our pattern paper and mat. Well, I'm glad you guys are liking the black border. Thank you. I thought that would help on that white background. And I'm going to bring in my Scor-Buddy. Just like with the process video, I like to have a little help when I mat stuff like this, like those strips. So I'm going to bring that in to help me out. If you haven't already, if you will give this video your stamp of approval by clicking on that like button down in the description box below. Not in the description box, below the video, if you'll click on that. So what I do here is I just align both pieces with this ledge on my Scor-Buddy and then move my pattern paper left or right to center it and then just put it in place. Now, like I said before, I did leave extra on that just in case, you know, this was slightly longer than 6 inches. And we'll trim that off in a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna leave this right here, and I gotta figure out. I think that's how it went. Okay. Oh heck, I don't know. Okay, I thought I was gonna remember. You know what? I think it's fine. We'll just put him down here. I had the extra hang off the wrong end. So we're just going to make it work, you guys. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Some adhesive on the back of the strip. And then line this up again with my Scor-Buddy. And the reason I'm putting these on before the black mat is just because I had that excess hanging off. So I will just trim those all at the same time. Here we go. Isn't that so pretty? Oh my goodness. I love this. I'm going to go ahead and finish this card, but we will definitely come back to the stenciled one. And then, guys, hopefully I end up with 3 cards because I already know where 2 of these are going, but hopefully I end up with a 3rd card that I'm going to give away to someone at the end of the video. So let's cross our fingers I don't have to press that oops button again. I like to make sure my borders are even before I press this too hard in place. The ATG is usually pretty forgiving. You can pick it up, but just want to be as careful as possible. Oh, Danny says now she wants to play with alcohol inks. I know. Every time I see something like this, I do too. You'll have to let us know if you decide to get them out. I get mine out about once a year now. And I always think I should get this out more often. So this is the folded edge. I just want to make sure I know where that's at before I put my pattern papers down. Look at that, guys. I love it. Thank you, Polly. Shelly Lee said she just got here. Welcome. Where are these papers from? So it is a whole set of just gorgeous different patterns here. Let me do this. And Carmen, my friend Carmen, who's in the chat, sent these to me. She is a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And this is called Full of Life 6x6 designer series paper. I do have a link to Carmen's site. Nightbot is sharing it, but it's also down in the description box. So go check it out. All right. Oh, Shelly has a follow-up question. I did not make it, but doesn't it look like I made it? No, it was that pattern paper that I just shared. Becky has a good idea. When she gets her alcohol ink, she makes a lot of backgrounds out of them. Good idea. Maybe if I did that and I only do them once a year, that would help. All right. Oh my gosh. Okay. So now let's go ahead and finish this one up. Now the sheet load, it gives the partial circle as a suggestion, which if you're a channel member, you do have access to the SVG file that will cut that out for you. But for today, I'm just going to cut one with a regular circle die and my trimmer. I decided that I would use this big thanks die. This is from Stamp Anything, like the name Annie, A-N-N-I-E. I don't think it's available anymore. If it is, I'll put a link below. But I thought this would go well with either of those rainbow papers. And what I did is I got the die out and then tried to figure out a circle that almost fit it. So this is going to hang off the edges a little bit, but that is all good. So I'm going to be die cutting out of vellum because you know I love to use vellum, and that way we can see some of that pattern paper through it. I'm going to cut this circle, which this is probably bigger than the one that the sheet load calls for. And before I put my die cutter away, I am going to cut this thanks out of this one. Try to find a scrap of black. Apparently, I don't keep many, or I cannot find a small scrap of black. So I'm just going to take the one I think this is the one I just used and cut out around here. There we go. Yeah, right here. Nightbot has just shared it over in the chat, the link to Carmen's store. And there's the name of the paper pad full of life. All right. I like this thanks because of the font, and it's just nice and big. Now, again, while this is out, let's go ahead and cut the sentiment for our second card, which if you're just joining us, oh, I thought I lost it. At the beginning of the live, we picked a color for this and I stenciled it. And for this one, I want it to be a thank you card too, but a little bit smaller. So I chose this one, which is an old Spellbinders die. Again, I don't know if this is available anymore. Susan has a question. Susan, would you link to the paper holders that you use, please? And thank you. Susan, I will make a note to add that after the live. I know I did on last week's live, but I will add it here too. Okay, I will add that. Or, you know, maybe later while you guys are like getting your entries in your card, if I get a third one done, I can try to maybe find it quickly then too. Okay, so this one will be for these cards. I think I'm going to go with that darkest blue, the blue corn for this. I don't want to go quite black, but I want it to be a little bold. So And if you're new here and not familiar with what Susan was talking about, these are the paper holders I use from Amazon. The pockets. So when I get a new little package of paper, I put it in here. I made my own labels, and then I just keep my scraps right in here with that cardstock too. But I need now a scrap that will fit 2 of those thank yous. I think that'll do it. Oh, flipped a little bit. I want to make sure it cuts. And Nightbot did just let you know if you want to sign up for my email list to be the first to get like the latest updates and some behind the scenes stuff, you can sign up at the link that Nightbot just shared. And this thank you I really like because it has those different fonts. You know, you have your serif and then more of like a scripty font for the second word. I think I bought this set. It came with a few different words at Michael's like years ago. Back when they had some Spellbinders dies there. Poke out my little bits. I didn't poke the centers out of the die after I cut it the first time, so now I have to poke out the insides of these. All right, so there is our second thank you. And I think now I am done with the die cutter. But I need to get the trimmer out so that we can turn that vellum piece into a partial circle. So it originally calls for, let's see, a 3-inch circle, and then you cut 3/4 inch off the bottom. My vellum circle today is 3 1/4. So let's see. Let's see where an inch would land. Let's see if I think. I think that'll be good. So I'm going to take 1 inch off the bottom of this circle. And now we have the partial circle just to fit right there. But before I put it onto the card base, I want to put my thanks on so I know where I can hide the glue. Fraulein has a question. She is new to being a channel member, doesn't really know everything. First of all, you will want to go now. You'll be able to see the membership tab on my channel page, and that is going to have your links to all of the perks, including the monthly blog, which I update each month, and it has like past perks as well. So definitely check out the membership tab. The email list is totally separate because being a member, YouTube doesn't share anything with me except your username and what level you're at. Like I have nothing to do with like the payments, and they don't send me your email address or anything. So the way that I, put the information out there for members is through that membership tab. So yes, definitely go ahead and sign up for my email list too, because it is completely separate. That was a great question. Thank you. All right. Let's get this put on here, which I'm going to do with my Barely Art liquid glue. I'm going to hold my thanks with the tweezers while I add this. And I'm going to put it on. I put like kind of a dot and then just spread it out with the nozzle of my glue and just put another little dot whenever I kind of run out. Using the liquid glue gives me some wiggle time to move that around before it gets too adhered. And now to make sure it's nice and stuck down, I'm going to put it under a little block here. I don't know if there's any. I have to do some more cutting with this, so I'll wait to do anything with these. We'll just give that a minute to dry, and I'll take a little drink break. My husband got me this new water bottle last week because he knows I love a rainbow. So I'm trying to stay hydrated in style. All right. I think that's probably good. So now when I go to put adhesive on the back of this, because now this does dry pretty clear, not glossy. I don't know that you would see it, but I do try to, when I add vellum to something, I try to add my adhesive behind like the image or the sentiment that's on the front. But again, this stuff does dry pretty nice and clear. Bye, Danny. Thanks for stopping by. And now I'm just going to put it over here on the left. And this, I will sit off to the side while we finish the other cards to let that dry nice and well there. So here we have this. And what I want to do first of all is, like I said at the beginning, if you weren't here, I'm going to try to turn this piece that I stenciled into 2 cards. And one of these, if you're watching live with us, I'm going to give away. But the first thing I'm going to do is just try to cut the bleed on this and see what I end up with, what size. Oops. That slipped. I need to try that again. I see we have some new friends joining us. Welcome, Melanie and Michelle. Thank you. Ooh, I did just see Lindsay says a diagonal cut could be fine. Lindsay, I was going to cut like 2 rectangles, but I agree with you. I think I will cut them diagonally. Very good idea. I don't always take suggestions from the audience, but I did just happen to see that and really like that thought. I mean, I take suggestions when we do polls, right? Okay. All right. Okay, so now it's simple. Then if I'm going to do a diagonal, just line these up on my trimmer where the cut line is. Oh, my face might be covering it a little bit. Right. And now, because this was not directional, I could just rotate that one back around, which, did I cut all the edges off that one? Yeah, no, I did. Okay. But I thought that this would be a lot smaller. So let's see. This is 4 inches wide. I should have cut it. I was going to make it just a little bit smaller. Yeah, I had my own thought, but since this is just 4 inches wide, I'm going to cut this so that's all the wider they are. Because I wanted to do kind of like a tone on tone background for these. So I want to do the sea salt card base. And I love a top fold card. And then I'm going to take another scrap of the sea salt and I'm going to cut this to 4 by 5 1/4. And that's why I ended up making these 4 inches. Okay, now before I put my trimmer away, I'm going to get out, this was guava. I'm going to get out some scraps of guava. I think I'll need a big one because I'm going to do a little border strip with this. I'm going to cut this, make an 1/8 of an inch strip. Sorry, this is taking longer than it should. Okay. So here I just have, do 2 of those. Just like that. And that way when I put those on here later, I'm just going to add that little diagonal there just to divide it up a little bit. Okay. Carmen is enjoying how the cards are coming along. Thank you, Carmen. Oh, didn't mean to go out that far. Okay, sorry if I just made you seasick there with my movements. For this, I'm going to bring in my Scor-Buddy again to score these. Welcome, Barbara. Glad you're here. Now, I could have definitely chosen one of our other colors to put behind the stencil piece, but sometimes I like those borders where it's, you know, like white cardstock on a white card base right next to each other, because you can tell just that little bit of difference. And what I might do, because our card's going to be pretty flat, I might go ahead and pop the other panel that's going to have the pattern paper on, and I might pop that up with some foam tape just so you have a little bit extra difference between the 2 layers. And for most of this, I'm going to use my ATG. But there are those corners that I can't get my ATG into. So where is my, there it is. I'm going to bring this back in and put the adhesive on the corners, just so those don't flip up. And this goes on to the map that I cut. I'm going to put it down that bottom left-hand corner and get those all lined up like that. Oh, Michelle says she loves my hair today. Thank you. I just threw this up in a ponytail. I didn't want to do anything with it, honestly. But thank you. I do like a high ponytail sometimes. And welcome to Card Crazed. I love how people are still showing up. Now, if you've been here since the beginning, let us know by putting a 10 over in that chat box, because I know many of you have been. But if you're just arriving or arrived late, you are still in time because I have not done the giveaway yet. Now, for the strips, for these little strips here, I purposely left them long so I don't have to worry about getting it exactly right. I'm going to use the liquid glue right up against the edge of the stenciled piece, since this strip is pretty darn thin. I see. Oh, all the tons of 10s. Tons of 10s coming in. Thank you so much, guys. And thank you to those of you who might have had to put like a 5 or a 1. I just always think it's fun to see how many of you hang out here with me the whole time, because definitely appreciated. There, oh, sorry, let's hide that so you can see it. So I'm just going to let that dry before I cut it off and go to the second one. Now, like I mentioned before, I'm going to keep the card front pretty flat. Now, what you could do with the thank you that I'm going to use, I could have cut out, you know, like 4 or, well, maybe 10 total and stacked 5 on top of each other to get a little dimension with the sentiment. But I'm just going to put it flat down for now because it's a little too hard. It's one of those sentiments that would be hard to get foam tape behind. But sometimes if a sentiment's larger, I'll put foam tape on the back. All right. 9.0, Marilyn, 9.75. Her computer froze, so had to switch to her phone. Oh, I'm so glad that you got back on here. Thank you. Tina's 9.5. Thank you, guys. All right. Now, let me find my scissors again. I keep throwing stuff away, but luckily, well, not throwing it away, but I put it off to the side so I don't want to have to find it. But luckily, I have lots of these non-stick scissors, which I got from Amazon. I think I got a 3-pack for like $10 or something. I have really enjoyed them because before I only had like the short ones. These give me a lot more cutting area. So I just trimmed off that excess. All right, now, and this is what I meant. I just kind of like that, especially, you know, down here, you're able to see it more, but just that tone on tone kind of background, you know, the card front on the card base. But I will go ahead, let's pop that up. Oh. Get out one of my big, I think this is the widest foam tape I have. Amazon does sell different widths. I think they even sell 1-inch wide. I think I need to buy some of that, you know, for stuff like this where I have to put it on the back of a huge piece or larger piece. Thank you, Helga. Same for this one. Make sure I burnish this well. So the blue, so the release paper. Oh, you know what? I don't want to release them both at the same time. I'm just going to do one. The blue paper comes off easily if you burnish, but it also, this is very staticky and loves to cling to things. All right, so now, again, it is sticky. Somebody pointed out it definitely is. It doesn't give you any wiggle room, wiggle time when you put it down. It is down. So I am going to put a layer of the liquid glue on top of this, just so I do have a little bit of time to adjust it if needed. This kind of gives me a slick layer. And I have the fold toward me, so I'm going to put it like this. And before I kind of lay down this end, I like to look at what's toward me and see if the borders look okay. Then I'm going to just lightly lay it down, and that looks good. Now I'm going to press it in place. And now that liquid glue gave me some room to be able to do that, but now the foam is nice and stuck down. If you are coming in late, I did mention at the beginning that the main products I'm using today, like the stencil set that made this pattern and the pattern paper on the 5x7 card, those items were sent to me as Happy Mail in June. And I thought it would be fun to go live and put them to use. So if you have enjoyed getting to see Happy Mail stuff in action, why don't you go ahead and put Happy Mail over in that? Nope. Yep. Over in that chat. I don't even know anymore, guys. Over in the chat box, let me know if you've enjoyed seeing me use the Happy Mail goodies. And if you ever want to send me a card, my P.O. box is always down in the bottom of the description box. And at the end of the month, I share a look at the cards and stuff that I receive. Oh, yay. Lots of people enjoying the Happy Mail. Love it. Yeah, this was fun. I thought it would be fun to share something creating with it. Okay. Oh, I almost put my liquid glue away, but I do need that for this. Uh-oh, you guys. I was planning on putting it kind of over this, but it gets kind of lost. And if I would have thought about, should I do a circle, you guys? Okay. Time for a poll. Let me get a drink and then I'll get it ready. Don't vote yet. But let me see here. If I use that same die as before, that would fit. So should I do a circle of vellum behind it down here, or should I just put it in the upper right where it's easy to see? So let me Let me type that. So, oh, I don't know what I'm not getting my poll ready. All right. So in the top right or on a vellum circle. So go ahead. I'll get the poll going. Go ahead and get your vote in there. And just in case, I'm going to go ahead and go over and grab a scrap of vellum while you're voting on that. You got 2 minutes to get that vote in. Susan wants to know if you can write in a third option. Unfortunately not. I'm the only one on these kind of polls who can add them. But good question. A little bit, got about a minute now. I'll go ahead and I'll cut one of these too so you can see. Oops. Sorry, that's my new water bottle making noise. So here would be that on top of a vellum circle. So you have in the upper right or here with the vellum circle, and you can still see the pattern behind it. I do see some of you saying one of each. We'll just go with the polls now, and since that's not an option, we'll just see which is the most popular, which I am actually surprised by the one that's winning right now. So get your votes in. Get your votes in. All right, time's up, guys. We're going to go with what the poll said, which is that is my drum roll replacement. I need to get that sound added to my my stream deck. So the winner was with 65% of the vote, the top right. That surprises me. But, you know, maybe I'm the only one who is totally crazy about vellum. But like I said, I'm going to go with whatever you guys suggested. So we are going to do them. You thought it looked better. 65% of you thought it looked better in the top right. So that is what I will do. And I can always save that vellum circle for later, right? Okay. Get my tweezers ready again. And to bring in my stamp block so it can sit on there. And same thing, just going to add some on the back of the sentiment. I think I let my glue drop to the bottom. Let me get this started. Ow, I was trying to put my pin in my bottle to clean that out, and I just poked myself in the finger. All right, just get that there. Okay, now it's ready. Put a little bit on the back of here. I know sometimes, like, I even look on camera when I'm thinking about things to see which I like better, because sometimes it's just far enough away to give you an idea of what it will look like, or sometimes I'll take photos of different ways I might like to do a card and see which photo I like better. So that's why I like to ask you guys. You guys are a little bit further away there. You can see what it looks like in the camera. So I'm going to do my best. Again, liquid glue allows me some wiggle time. Get that as straight as possible on there. There we go. And add some little stray hairs here. I want to get off before I glue it down. Oh, I forgot to put the block on that one. All right. I will probably go later and see if I can find some gems or something to go with one of the colors on the card and add those. But let's bring back in the first one, you guys. So the first card, it was, I used the sheet load dimensions for this and the pattern paper that Carmen sent me, which Nightbot just shared that. Make sure to check out her shopping link and get yourself some of your own rainbow paper. And there was one teeny tiny scrap, which again, I kind of threw it off to the side. I might see about putting that on the inside for some decoration, just so it's a scrap free. And then out of the other Happy Mail present I got, which it was 2 stencils, and this is dirty, I got to clean it, but 2 stencils that we stenciled, rotated, switched out, stenciled, rotated to make this background pattern. And that was from Jennifer Summers. And she actually created this card with that same background and sent it to me with the Happy Mail goodies. All right, Helga has a question. Maybe you can put some small gemstones in dark blue. That is probably the color I'll look for, or I might try to find a guava, but I'm not sure what I have left over that would match. So I'm going to see what I have. So now, like I keep saying, like I mentioned before, but I did mention before that 2 of these cards I already have a destination for. But that's why I made a 3rd, so I could give one of these away, you guys. So if you would like me to send you one of the kind of the stenciled cards, what you're going to do, let me get it ready. In the comment section, or in the chat box, sorry, not in the comment section. You do have to be here live to do this. But if you will type in hashtag thank you, hashtag THANKYOU, hopefully I spelled that correctly, type that in 1 time to get your entry. It has to have the hashtag, and it has to be spelled exactly like you see on screen, no spaces. And I'll give you a couple minutes to get your thank you in, and then we'll kind of take any last questions. I'll tell the winner how they'll claim the prize. And guys, thank you so much for sticking with me. We've been here so far for 1 hour and 43 minutes. You guys are amazing. And this can go US or international, the card. About a minute to get your thank you in. And if you do notice that you typed it incorrectly, go ahead and fix it so you get your entry, but you don't need to type it in like 5 or 10 times to the chat, because each username does just get one chance to win. And as the chat slows down, if you do have any final questions for me, go ahead and throw those in the chat, and I'll try to answer them before we say goodbye. Elisa pre-ordered her calendar. Awesome, awesome. I got mine as well. I'm super excited. My plan is, again, in December to do the daily lives and create with my Crafty Advent calendar presents. Kind of like treating yourself, giving yourself a gift each day at the beginning of December. All right, guys, 7 seconds. Get those hashtag thank yous in. All right, I want to make sure that it stopped going up here, so I'll give it about 30 more seconds. While I'm waiting, double checking that. Elisa said she loved the daily lives. I did too. It was pretty tiring, but I did have a blast. And Polly said the color cubes are so inspiring. I would have never put those colors together, but they are so pretty. I know, like there are some cards that I pick out. I'm like, oh no, this is going to be the worst thing ever. And then I end up loving it. Don't forget, if you don't have color cubes and you want to check them out, I do have down in the description box below, I have a link to the 2-box bundle. And Tina, I think I might have just answered your question. Oh, wait, no, all 3. So I will, you know what, I'm going to star that and I'll save that for when I'm back on camera. But let's go ahead and find out who the lucky winner is. So good luck, or congratulations to, remember, your name might not show up, but everybody did get their entry in as long as you followed that. It just shows a handful of people. Yvette, congratulations, Yvette. What I need you to do is, now let me go here to this one. So Yvette, I don't remember if I turned the form back on, but at the bottom of the description box is a link to a Google form for you to fill out. If you'll give me like 10 minutes after I end the live and then go fill it out. Because again, I can't remember if I turned it on, and I don't want to fool with I don't want to fool with the screens right now, but there will be a form there. Yes, congratulations to Yvette. I love that you're all over there with your good good sportsmanship, congratulating her. Too bad I couldn't have made what I think 27 people entered. Too bad I couldn't have made 27 cards today. Speaking of that, if you have not yet given this video your stamp of approval, that's a thumbs up, like it below the video, click on that like button, or shared it with a crafty friend, I would so appreciate that. It lets me know you enjoy what I'm doing here so I can come back and do it more, right? But so I've told Yvette about that, and I was going to answer that question. So let's bring that back up on screen. Tina said, am I going to do all 3 calendars again? So far, what I know is I have pre-ordered the Tailored Expressions calendar. This afternoon, I'm going to pre-order a different one that I was told about in yesterday's live stream, and that is from Pink and Maine, which if you are on my email list, I will send out an email later today that gives you that link if you want to pre-order your own. I rewatched last year's playlist where they opened each day's gifts. It kind of reminds me of Tailored Expressions. You know, like one day you might get a stamp, the next day you get the die for it. But I also saw one day it was like foilables, because you know they have like a foil kit too, I think, a foil club. So I'm excited to try it. So I'm definitely going to do those 2. And my plan is to get Spellbinders again. So I'm going to be keeping an eye out for those when they go for sale. And again, I'll let my email list know when they do. And I have a crafty friend across, maybe not across the pond, across the ocean, who is maybe going to be sharing an international one with me. So this could be an extra special Advent season. So yes, hopefully that answered your question. That was kind of wordy. Did I miss any other questions? All right, guys. Well, did I forget anything? Thank you again to everybody who is joining us here. Make sure if you haven't signed up for my email list yet that you do that so you're the first to know all the good news. Actually, probably first to know, you should subscribe to the channel and click on the bell for all notifications, because whenever I put anything on my community tab, I think if you have it set up correctly, you will get an email maybe with that, or you know, like a notice on your phone. So definitely do those things. Sign up for the email. You can come on over to my Facebook group. There's a link down at the bottom of the description box. I share stuff there as well. So congrats again to Yvette. Thank you so much to Carmen and Jennifer for sending me these fun goodies to play with. And like I always say, guys, until my next one, I hope you're having a crafty day. Bye-bye.